Hello, hello, my lovely audience. It is Natalie, Naturally Ryan. You know I go by all three, and today I'm here with another video. If you couldn't tell, before we kick things off, my voice hurts. I was at an amusement park for 2 days. That's also why my face is a little red. I'm sunburned. And my voice is now deep because I've been screaming on roller coasters. But other than that, I'm doing pretty well. Today, we will be kicking it off with another, I don't know, this is gonna be more like a video essay, video commentary, video. But it's about the second challenge in the K-Influencer project that I've been so graciously accepted to by Korea.net. And this is really about how Korea is viewed in each country. I live in America, so this is about how Korea is viewed in America. Obviously, this is a very small segment of how Korea is viewed globally, but this is just my 2 cents. It's 2013. The world should have ended last December. Mustaches were on every Claire's backpack possible. And life was good. Well, life was easy, because most of us were like 10 or 11 at most. Fast forward, and now we are all the Gen Z kids doing TikTok dances and bringing back those godforsaken trends of the early 2000s. Lots has changed in almost the last decade. Now, K-pop is a global phenomenon, with BTS becoming a household name in nearly every country in the world. But in 2013, 8 years ago, that wasn't quite the case. America still isn't really all that great on giving international music the respect or radio play it deserves, but in 2013, one hit Korean song rose to the charts and was quite possibly the first K-pop song most of us current stans had ever heard.
오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일
Although sometimes I forget the song was my first K-pop experience, and even the first K-pop choreo I had ever learned, and I would much rather attribute my ascent on the Hallyu wave to Monster by EXO, or No More Dream by BTS, or even Aju Nice by 17, Gangnam Style by Psy swept even my little elementary school in Utah by storm, with a group of 5th graders aggressively dancing at each other. I know that probably doesn't impress y'all much considering how kids just Fortnite T-pose backpack cross at each other to assert dominance, but let's think about this. During a bilateral meeting with South Korean President Park Geun-hye at the White House in May 2013, US President Barack Obama cited Gangnam Style as an example of how people around the world are being swept up by the Korean culture wave. That is way more impressive than a bunch of 10-year-olds fight dancing in my elementary school, but, you know, whatever. Usually, the Korean/Hallyu wave is credited with growing over the last 20 years or so, with the late 90s and early 2000s hits from BoA, SES, Finkel, and other OG groups that now inspire idols today. Some can also credit Sotaji and the Boys for being the first modern K-pop group, with lyrics that criticized authority, norms, and inspired many youth to take control of their futures. Also, go listen to HFT's song Candy. This song is so good. I love it. I'm obsessed with this song. This song is top tier. Please, I love it. However, in the last 5 to 10 years, from about 2011 to 2016, K-pop has exploded into the global consciousness. Some of the most banging songs to ever be written and produced have come out in this time frame, including, but not limited to, Sherlock by SHINee, Monster by EXO, Dope by BTS, My House by 2PM, Heartbreaker by G-Dragon, Fantastic Baby by Big Bang, Cantanella by Orange Caramel, Like Ooh-Ah by Twice, and Boombaya by Blackpink. And there are literally so many more that I'm missing out on, and I cannot even list them all in this video because that would just basically be the rest of the video, and I cannot get around having that much copyright content in this bad boy. Other major examples of K-pop kind of, invading the consciousness of America is like Big Bang's Fantastic Baby. It was one of the first K-pop hits to make inroads in American culture, and it was even featured on Glee's K-pop episode, along with Gangnam Style, which was also played during the Parade of Nations. And honestly, I wish I did not know there was a Glee K-pop episode at all. That was a phase of mine that died when I realized I could be critical about the shows I watched, and I didn't just need to accept that they were bad. Glee was a dark time in my life. Although K-pop is a global force, the complexity of Asians and the Asian American experience in America is much more than Korean pop becoming a part of the US mainstream. As a white woman in America, I will never experience racism and discrimination like this, but I want to talk about it because there are many people who are still unaware or ill-informed about the reality of racism in America. Since the specific pandemic that I can't talk about because YouTube is wild and won't let me say the word, or else I could just have my video never be viewed, racism against Asian Americans has increased exponentially. Violent attacks against Asian Americans and the discussion of Asian Americans as the model minority, despite high rates of poverty within immigrant communities that often goes overlooked, the rise in Asian fishing and cultural appropriation. This has all gone on for decades, centuries even, in the US. But what's really terrible is it's not a major part, or sometimes even a part of, K-12 education in the US, so many atrocities against Asian Americans aren't even taught in schools. Although Korean Americans are only one part of the wider umbrella of Asian Americans, this racism and violence impacts all Asian Americans in detrimental ways. Please donate to the causes that I have listed in the description of this video, and also go support Asian Americans talking about these issues. They will have more information, and you really should be listening to the voices of those being impacted instead of me, someone who can only help to amplify them. I will be listing videos by Asian American creators who have directly spoken out against this subject. Yes, please go check them out. It's way more important than what I have to say on it. For Koreans, this past year has exposed the deep problems within the American system, from hyperpartisanship and deep distrust in government to a poor healthcare system, issues that have been long familiar to Americans, but not to Koreans, many of whom have maintained the idea of American exceptionalism far longer and livelier than many Americans. I am not Korean, but if I have any Korean viewers, I would absolutely love to know how you feel or if you've seen this shift. I find it so interesting how the world is seeing the really deeply ingrained inequalities in the US, and how that could shape global relations as the years go on. So please, comment down below, talk about it, start a discussion, let me know. Am I totally off base on this? Am I wrong? Am I right? What's going on? Let me know. I mean, it's really cool to see these shifts, but it just means I'll be living through more historical events. Yay. It was supposed to be flying cars, it was supposed to be flying cars, it was supposed to be flying cars in deep space exploration, it was supposed to be flying cars in deep space exploration. Overall, the Hallyu wave is in full motion in America in many ways. Although there is much progress to be made in addressing systemic issues in America, it is still kind of amazing to know that there are kids here, Gen Z and younger, who will have K-pop so readily accessible. Hopefully these points of connection can be where people begin to broaden horizons and multicultural literacy and care as we continue into this latter half of 2021 and beyond. Now, for some non-scripted stuff where you just get to see me talking, yeah, it's been really kind of incredible, the shift in when I was first introduced to K-pop and Korean culture versus now. So originally, I think I really got into K-pop and I was really introduced to Korea as a nation and as a culture, not just knowing like some facts about Korea from school, but actually understanding a little bit more about the culture and taking one part of that culture, music, and incorporating it into my everyday life. And what was really, really interesting is I can remember this shift pretty well actually. Back when I was like 13, 14 and getting into K-pop and I had friends telling me about it, it was not something people talked about really at all. You would never be able to find merch, you would never be able to find albums, like that would be stuff that you would need to almost exclusively get imported in the state that I lived in, because there really wasn't just representation of other cultures. It was just a very homogenous sort of state. And I grew up in Utah and there really wasn't that many places. It really wasn't in the mainstream, and so people just simply didn't talk about it. Many people really kind of wrote it off as another boy band craze, kind of like One Direction, which was very big at the time, where One Direction, like, they were from the UK, so tons of girls were into the UK and they were like so into the UK and Ireland and so I feel like it was very, very dismissed in the earlier 2010s and the mid 2010s, but especially as it's gone on and BTS has had such critical acclaim with their English songs, their English singles, I really see that there has been this shift. I mean, I can go to Target right now and buy a 17 album, and back when I first started liking 17, that would be impossible. Like, that would not have been an option for me. So that's crazy. And even like, I can go into a Barnes & Noble here in the state that I live in now, where we're still very rural and it's still not really great in terms of diversity. There's not like a lot of representation out here. But there is like a place to get things. Like you can go to Barnes & Noble. I found a GOT7 album with all of the pre-order inclusions just sitting on a shelf. What? That is crazy to me that there has been this such a major shift that now this is something that you can access and you can buy and you can, I mean, obviously ordering online is really still where I get most of my albums, and that's because pre-order benefits, except for that one time where the GOT7 pre-order benefits were in there already, but I don't know why that happened. But yeah, it's really incredible. Even like my local record store, which is very much local and they support like local music from the town that I'm in, they have K-pop albums that they sell. And they also resell K-pop albums. That's how I found older albums like Big Bang's Made. I found that. I found Giddy Boy on CD. Like, I have found a lot of stuff. I found Zico. It's very strange remembering when this was something that people liked, but it was really an internet-based hobby where you had to be in the right circles online to find albums and to find people who had the same interests as you. Now, I go into a Barnes & Noble and I see like 3 girls checking out the K-pop section and I'm like, oh, okay. We're all here for the albums, aren't we? Like, I think that it is incredible that this has picked up so much traction in the last few years, and I would really love to see this continue, mainly just because I love tons of different music, and I think music is good no matter what language it's in. And also, it would just be really fantastic for the Korea that, like, for people to just like things they like no matter what country they're from. I think that would be really fantastic. So yes, that's just my 2 cents. That's how I met Korea. That's how I've seen things develop living in America, and yes, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed. Like I said, this is a bit of a different take on how I usually do videos. So like, kind of funky, kind of fresh. We don't know. Let's see how it goes. Please continue to support my channel. Like, subscribe, comment, do your thing, share the video, whatever. Follow me on Instagram. Listen to my podcast, When Anxious Kids Grow Up, Where Do They Go? Do whatever you want to. You can go visit my website. All of it will be in my bio, and in my description, and also in the description. It's very important that today you go and check out the Asian American creators that I have put down there, their videos about the Asian American experience, because frankly, I'm no expert on that for obvious reasons. And really, it's just very important to support them. Donate to the different links in my bio as well about Asian American violence and stopping Asian American hate, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.